the ultimate guide for the scout in CS2. After watching this video, you will feel more confident hitting more insane shots with this staple of Counter-Strike. If you're not sure you can trust me, I'm Louis, a 3000 elo player on Faceit, and I play internationally with Team USA at LAN events around the world. We'll start with how to abuse the scope running speed of the scout, then we'll talk about when to buy this weapon to make it most effective, as well as what your teammates should buy. Next, we'll go over all the different ways you can take gunfights to catch your opponents off guard. Then we'll talk about movement, crosshair placement, and the actual in-round playstyle you should have with the scout. I've included timestamps in the description below, so you can skip ahead or revisit any tip that you like. One of my favorite things about the scout that a lot of people don't abuse is the speed that you can run when you're scoped. If you see when I'm running right here, my max velocity is 230. Even if I strafe left to right, it's going to max out at 230, which is the fastest your character can move. But if I were to scope in with the scout, you can see that I still have the maximum velocity. So one thing a lot of people don't like to abuse is just scoping in and running around. They like to unscope and not even try to pre-aim any angles. But if you want to get really good with the scout, it's really good to get comfortable just not unscoping at all and just playing in your scope. Now, it does have its disadvantages where if someone wants to come out long, I'm going to have to try and flick. But since you can move so well, you can almost just pretend like you're donk and just constantly AD. As long as you have really good crosshair placement, you should guarantee yourself a kill. And you also have the ability to get away as well because you're not losing any speed when you shoot. So if you happen to lose the pistol round, one thing that you can definitely do is buy a scout and have your teammates buy deagles. The reason is if you body shot someone with the scout, you're going to see it's doing 69 damage. Now what this does, it allows your teammates with the deagles to just one-shot any opponent. We call this trap bag and tag them, where our opper wants to buy a scout and then allows us to buy deagles because he doesn't even have to worry about headshotting anyone that he sees on the map. He can literally just body shot them and try to get away and go find someone else to body shot, and that allows us to literally just one tap anyone that's in front of our screen. Now one of the things about the scout is the no scope accuracy. You don't even really need to scope in half of the time because it's just going to land where your crosshair is aiming. So this is really good for any close range duels with the scout. If you do find yourself in this position, you can almost just use it like a shotgun, and you can also just abuse the movement speed that the scout has. And if you do have really good crosshair placement, you're going to be able to know where the player is. But if you don't have good crosshair placement at all, it's also good to just practice having your pistol out and then trying to remember where your crosshair is and trying to aim where the enemy might be playing. And one of the best things about the scout is the wallbang potential. As you can see, if I can find the spot behind the door, I'm going to be doing 187 damage. Now the scout is pretty much like an op when it comes to wallbangs. So one of the best things to do, especially on a map like Dust 2, is to play for wallbangs behind the door and try to kill anyone jumping across. This makes the scout very, very good in a lot of situations because there's a lot of wallbangable positions on every single map, and you can even miss a shot trying to strafe away and shoot through any corners and still do a lot of damage because it's going to get your opponent at least down to half health. Now before we move on to different movement tactics as well as how to practice them, let me tell you about the Monkey. Skins Monkey is a CS2 skins trading site marketplace that provides an instant way to get new skins. The favorite thing about Skins Monkey is that I can trade skins that I no longer want and trade it for a skin that is equal value. If you use code LouisCS2, you get a $5 bonus on your first trade, and if you want to buy skins, you can get a 30% deposit bonus plus an extra 5% using my code. The link is down in the description. Thank you Skins Monkey for sponsoring this video. Now since we talked about the velocity that the scout has when you are scoped in or unscoped, it's really important that you practice movement, because if you can style on opponents like Munacy does, you're able to get away with so many things where you can just strafe out, get a free kill, maybe even get a nice clean jump shot as well, or just strafe around and move around, especially somewhere like the B site where if people are starting to come out B, you might have the opportunity to just strafe around on boxes and get a lot of free kills, which can open up the round for your team, especially if you're doing a lot of free damage. Because if you have good movement, you can maneuver around anything and just body shot any opponent, and you most likely, if you do have good movement and can play around objects or just reposition, you're going to be tagging at least 2 people, which makes it a lot easier on your teammates either retaking or if you are trying to take the site. Now I did mention this earlier, but good crosshair placement is so important with the scout because most of the time you're going to be holding for someone at a headshot level. If you are maybe on a force round, or maybe you just have a scout and the rest of your team has M4s, making sure that you're at the head level is very important. But one thing you want to remember with the scout when you are aiming at head level is don't hold close to the wall, because CS2 has major peeker advantage, which you probably know if you're watching this video. So you want to make sure that you're holding out for the wide swing just so you can guarantee to get that kill. Now like I've talked about in a lot of my videos, you don't really have to aim for the head. You can also aim below the head as well because of how the hitboxes work. So even if you're off by just a little bit, you are going to get a headshot. But you just want to make sure that you understand where you need to put your crosshair and how far away from the angle. Like if I was holding for someone to peek towards palm tree, I would be holding all the way out here because they're going to try to cross my line since I'm going to be holding such a tight angle. So I want to make sure that I'm having the advantage on this fight if someone does decide to swing me. Now since we did talk about practicing movement movement and the velocity at which you can run either scoped in or unscoped, it's very important that you're playing positions that you can fall back. So a good example is playing towards cat at the start of the round. I might want to hold for someone towards suicide or hold towards palm. And if I do get this kill or if I do miss, I want to be able to fall back and play a different position and then just keep falling back where I'm guaranteed to get a lot of free damage. Because let's say, for example, in a round that I'm playing off cat, someone wants to try to run down mid. Either I get a kill here or I kill him playing over here towards green box. That could be a free tag. And then maybe someone's running up cat. I could get another tag. I could fall all the way back to this ledge angle. Either maybe I get a kill on this cat guy trying to chase me, or I just hold this for a little bit while the T's try to take cat. And then I can literally just hold, maybe get another tag on someone that came from lower onto cat. And now that's at least 3 people with 30 health into the round. One of the most fundamental things about the scout is to stop, scope, flick, and shoot. So when you do see an opponent, you want to make sure that you're stopping, scoping, flicking, and then shooting. This is the fundamentals of how to scout and even how to op. So make sure when you guys are using this weapon, you are thinking about that, because running and shooting with a scout is not accurate at all. It's not like where if you were jumping, you may be able to get a free tag, or if you do feel a little lucky, you can literally just stop, not scope, and then shoot, and you may be able to get a tag just like this because of the accuracy. But just remembering the fundamentals of the scout can definitely get you some kills if you are in the lower elos. Now, I did mention how the scout is really good on a second round buy, but it's also really good on gun rounds as well, especially as a CT. And that's because on the CT side, it obviously takes 2 headshots to kill anyone in front of you. So it's very important that if you do have low money, it's very good to purchase a scout just so you can damage the opponents, because like I showed earlier, shooting someone is going to do 71 damage, as you can see here. So just doing that will help your teammates win more duels with the M4s, because they only have to headshot them 1 time instead of 2. If this video helped you, make sure to check out this video on 20 off angles you can abuse in CS2 by clicking the video on screen now.